Hey, what's up, guys? Today I'm going to be reading Batsy Vincent, also known as Ethnic Hez, of What You Got Roleplay application. What is your Steam name? Batsy Vincent. What character names do you go by? Dash and Run Lot. What is your character's backstory? As Volnirk was raised, he was gifted with the blood of an elder, praised among the Vortigaunt race as a higher power and a future to behold. As Vortigaunt grew older, he was tasked among the finest of survival due to the fact that he was representing the power of his tribe and race. He would show his strength against species such as antlions and other Zen species. Amongst the times he was pushed along the lines of war, it was then decided to his mind that Zen was literally a war zone, in other words, survival of the fittest. He showed somewhat of a safe state mentally, but at times he would go outside the peak of sanity to push himself at the fullest extent to the point where he left his tribe to survive on his own terms and regulations. By notice, if someone were to speculate his journey, he would be considered a threat among any. Over the years of aging, he then possessed the gift of healing among any, and the power is pushed over the limit of others. He then noticed a small creature in a distance of his hideout. As it approached, it showed weakness. As the figure started to come into view, it showed as a child Vortigaunt in need of assistance. Volnirk gestured to come and began to call with such a high-pitched noise of chirping that the figure appeared to be running at the scenes of view. The figure was holding on to an item engraved into the palm of its hands. It seemed to be a gem-like object among any. The figure handed the green glowing object to Volnirk, exclaiming that he will keep this to the gift of the tribe. Yeah. The figure then ran off with little hesitation, with more figures appearing from the shadows walking away. As Volnirk kept the crystal, he then created a necklace sort of thing with a string from a hive. He fought his way through the antlion-infested caves. He placed the crystal, and then realizing he needed to implement the crystal into him so that he would not misplace it in battle, he then grabbed a sharp object chipped with rock and cut a hole in his body. He then placed the crystal-like object in his body, and as it touched his blood, it glowed brightly. He kept it there for months, allowing the skin to grow back and the muscle to stay. The crystal was reveled as safe. Months later, of surviving the cruel that world's end, a new race arrived known as the Combine. They came through portals, seemingly enough to a hostile purpose. They attacked with their advanced technology at their palms. They captured Volnirk's tribe and started making the planet of Zen the biggest war zone to lay eyes on. As Volnirk witnessed the Combine attacking, he was then captured from blank sight as he was surrounded with vocoders and different foreign creatures tamed by the Combine. He was knocked out, seemingly enough, in some sort of trance. The next week, he awoke and chained with some sort of collar and wristbands. Walking out of containment into the public, humans running around as the Combine made them their pets. It was mayhem as Volnirk was confused at the situation that was going on. He hid. He stayed in a small manhole for as long as he could remember, and one morning heard it all stop, and a loudspeaker come on saying, "Attention, City 17. Welcome to the new step of the ages." Gunfire was silent, just with that one echoing voice filled with the city. The only thing that Volnirk could comprehend was real. He then went on with his powers intact and interacted with the ecosystem of underground society. Why would you like to be Vortigaunt? I want to express my roleplay skills among the server to increase the amount of interest with extra species other than civilians and Combine. I also wish to become a known person among the community, having a good reputation with Vortigaunt roleplay. I want to expand to other servers, including this one being a bigger than most and popular. I want to show citizen character using the icy fun of being a citizen, but interacted and verbally speaking with other creatures if the situation comes to be. I also want to expand more of my roleplay reach and expand myself to more with my Vortigaunt character. Do you have any past role-playing experience as a Vortigaunt? Yes, I have spent most of my time on certain servers being a Vortigaunt, most of those as an elder or just a regular one. Give 10 lines of speech you would say as Vortigaunt.
This one's name is Volnirk. Volnirk wishes good to humans. Come, Ken, allow us to proceed among the rust. This one needs assistance curing the humans with power of Volnirk. Allow this one to cure the world of the burning ones. Can proceed to the human's shelter. Our kin have now proceeded to breed to increase our kin. To the void with you. All humans. Kin shall not be controlled. Us kin shall be under your rule.
You have 15 detailed roleplay examples with this faction. There are calls of help from what it sounds, an injured female bleeding out severely. Me would rush to the direct sound of the voice and notice that the door is locked to the injured female. Me would then attempt to break down the door with a beam of light, attempting to charge it from the palm of his hands. Me would then attempt to charge a beam of light great enough to surpass the door and nothing behind it would be harmed. Roll 67. Succeeds. Me would then burst down the door with the beam, and behind it was a set of stairs just awaiting to be climbed to the sound. Me would then climb the steps, cautiously going up as each step a stomping gesture would be heard from the next one. Me would spot female in distress, now looking down, noticing marks of high electrical burns and bleeding at a stage of tragic. Female/me would look up at the weird figure, somewhat confused, mumbling out with her state of pain. Help me, ethnic. Me would then nod, looking for medical supplies and other equipment that can be at use. Would then spot a shelf of items. Me would then look in the shelf of items, and to be seen there is a bunch of containers of food, greens, water, and ration supplements, but no items that can be used for medical assistance. Me would then start to realize that he perform a method of Vort essence healing that he learned in his past times, but with the cost of putting himself at a weaker state. Me would then attempt to create a form of green light in a pulse figure on his palm, seeming to make it go back and forth like playing with water or sand, starting to put it over the wound, then stopping due to the weakness it creates and realizing he needs assistance. Me would then create an echoing noise upon all others, like a chirp or a bird's mating call. After the sound of the chirping gesture, a sound of an army of 6 come to the peak of the echo. Me.
My kin are arriving. Please attempt to gesture a mind of sympathy.
The sound fills the room as they come through this door, arriving up the stairs, gesturing in a quick motion due to the sound is an SOS of sort. Female would lie there, still awake, gesturing a nod and a slight twitch from her left hand as arriving around a beat of a heart. Me would gesture a small nod to the fellow kin to seemingly know what they think they should do. Fortchigant's QT6/me would then give their limited power to the elder Fortchigant, me, and begin to struggle, laying there as they drain the limited power almost fully out of their living corpses. Me would then begin to perform the same action once again as earlier, making a green light possess his hands in a pulse motion, charging it to the state of paranormal comprehension. Me would then place his hands onto the marked wounds of the burning marks on the clothing and blood stains possessed and dried onto her shirts and pants. Me would then attempt to heal her into a safe state of rest and avoid any other tragic development of infection and loss of blood. Roll 53. Successful. Female/me would lay asleep in a safe state of no medical need and most likely awaken with full mobility. Me would then rest due to the energy even after giving back some energy to the kin, taking a pair of keys found inside the female's pocket, going downstairs to lock the door, resuming to realize that he blasted the door, then picking her up with the strength left inside his body to the next room, up the stairs, struggling at full force, opening the door slowly and putting her on the furniture in the room, laying himself to the rest on the ground, calling out another chirp to signal a going home communication to the kin. And how old are you in real life? 15. Have you ever had any past bans or kicks on the server? No. How long have you played on the server? 2 hours. I do understand that you will be slave to the Combine unless you get freed by a resistance member, in which you'd be at risk of amputation on sight.
I understand.
You will be unlightlisted for faction abuse, improper roleplay, inappropriate behavior, faction exploiting. Do you agree to these terms? I agree. You've played 5,000 hours.